Good evening, and welcome to your AIDailyPress evening podcast for June 25th, 2025. Tonight, we're summarizing the latest developments in the Middle East, where tensions between Israel and Iran have been escalating. In our top story, President Trump's efforts to broker a ceasefire between Israel and Iran appear to be holding, at least for now. The president's announcement of a ceasefire came after a series of strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, which had sparked concerns of a wider conflict in the region. We've also been following reports of a fragile ceasefire holding in the Middle East, with both sides welcoming the move but emphasizing that it's only a first step towards finding a lasting solution to the conflict. Our correspondent in the Middle East reported that the mood on the ground is cautiously optimistic, but also wary, with people yearning for peace and security after years of conflict and instability. In related news, the United Nations has announced an emergency meeting to discuss the situation in the Middle East and potential ways to prevent further escalation. We'll be keeping a close eye on these developments and bringing you live coverage as needed. That's all for tonight's summary. Tune in tomorrow for more in-depth analysis and updates on the AIDailyPress. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you then. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Thank you, Walter. Firstly, in Kenya, thousands of protesters have taken to the streets to demand justice for victims of police brutality, following a recent anniversary of protests that turned violent in 2024. The Kenyan government has announced plans to establish an independent inquiry into the events, but critics argue that this is too little, too late. Secondly, in the Middle East, a fragile ceasefire has taken hold after a recent conflict between Israel and Iran. The U.S. military strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities have caused significant damage to Iran's nuclear program, according to Israeli officials and international observers. However, Iranian officials have disputed these claims, and diplomatic efforts are underway to establish a long-term peace agreement. Lastly, in Europe, Switzerland is seeking talks with the United States regarding the cost of F-35 fighter jets it plans to purchase, amid concerns over rising costs due to inflation and raw materials. Additionally, Switzerland has announced plans to explore a defense procurement pact with the European Union, which would allow the country to participate in EU arms procurement projects and strengthen its defense capabilities. These stories highlight the complexities and nuances of international relations, diplomacy, and defense procurement. We'll continue to follow these developments and provide updates as more information becomes available. Thank you for joining us on the AIDailyPress. Until next time, good night. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Firstly, we looked at alternative cash options, particularly the JP Morgan Ultra Short Income ETF, which has been outperforming its benchmark with a compelling yield and minimal capital risk. On the other hand, we highlighted the cautionary tale of the Simplified Treasury Option Income ETF, which has underperformed traditional cash vehicles due to its high volatility and poor risk-adjusted performance. Secondly, we touched on the world of cryptocurrency and cash alternatives, but more importantly, we delved into the story of Indonesia's commitment to fiscal discipline. Finance Minister Sri Mulyani Indrawati reassured investors that the government will maintain its budget deficit at 1.9% of GDP, alleviating concerns about aggressive spending to fund campaign promises. Lastly, our third article also focused on Indonesia's economic stability, with Minister Indrawati's comments on maintaining fiscal prudence and stimulating consumption, investment, and trade to meet this year's 5.3% growth target. In summary, tonight's podcast highlights the importance of adapting to changing market conditions, whether it's exploring alternative cash options or monitoring a country's fiscal discipline. As I always say, where do you stay your money Monday? It's a question that requires careful consideration, especially in times of uncertainty. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the world of finance. Until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, don't put all your eggs in one basket unless you're absolutely sure it's a golden egg. Now, for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, we looked at the latest discovery from NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, which detected its first exoplanet, 227b. This remarkable finding marks a major milestone in the search for life beyond our solar system and offers new insights into planetary formation. Next, we reported on a privately funded spacecraft launched by Axiom, carrying astronauts from India, Poland, and Hungary to the International Space Station. This mission represents a significant step forward in private spaceflight and international cooperation, demonstrating the power of collaboration and innovation in space exploration. Lastly, we touched on the growing trend of commercial development in low Earth orbit, with NASA announcing plans to open up the International Space Station to more private astronauts and companies. As we move forward in this new era of space exploration, it's essential that we prioritize safety, sustainability, and responsible practices. These stories showcase the incredible progress being made in space exploration and the exciting possibilities that lie ahead. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. Now, for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. I'm your host, Howard. Tonight, we've got an exciting lineup of sports news for you. We start with a look at the most memorable final seasons in NFL history, featuring legendary players like Van Brocklin, Jim Brown, and John Elway. Our expert analysis delves into the top 5 farewell campaigns that left an indelible mark on the game. We also take a closer look at the New Orleans Saints wide receiver corps, which has been a topic of discussion among fans and analysts alike. With just 74 days to go until the season opener, we examine the team's chances and highlight every player who has worn the iconic number 74 jersey for the Saints. Additionally, our podcast touches on the remarkable career of Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who may be contemplating retirement after the upcoming season. We reflect on his legacy and the opportunity he has to join the elite group of players with exceptional final seasons. That's all for tonight's summary. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Currell.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, we profiled Barry Barnett, a renowned lawyer known for his expertise in appellate law, highlighting his remarkable career and contributions to the legal field. Secondly, we discussed a somber incident from Melbourne, where a teenager was convicted of murdering a doctor during a home invasion, underscoring the complexities of crime and its impact on communities. Lastly, we explored developments in medical research at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where new staff have been hired at the Wisconsin Institute for Medical Research, signaling significant investment in healthcare innovation. These stories remind us of the intricate relationships between individuals, communities, and their surroundings, emphasizing the importance of empathy, understanding, and constructive dialogue. That's all for tonight. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the stories that shape our world. Until next time, good evening, and may the pursuit of knowledge continue to inspire us all. Now, for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, we talked about the iconic album The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, which is still rocking the charts after 50 years. Yes, you heard that right, 50 years. It's a testament to true artistry and timeless music. Next, we delve into the world of telenovelas with the upcoming series Dinasta Casillas. Trust me, folks, this one's going to be huge. With stunning costumes, breathtaking sets, and complex characters, you won't want to miss it. So mark your calendars and get ready for the drama and passion. And finally, we celebrated the enduring legacy of fashion and music with a nod to Pink Floyd's classic style. From their iconic album covers to their influence on contemporary fashion, it's clear that some things never go out of style. That's all for tonight, folks. Until next time, Stay fabulous, keep on rocking, and remember, if you want to make a good first impression, start with a good last impression. Good night, and sweet dreams. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Attenager.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we explored the world of insect-based diets and sustainable food systems. As the global population grows, finding alternative protein sources is crucial. Insect farming offers a promising solution, but it's essential to consider the full range of perspectives and possibilities to create a more sustainable and equitable food future. Secondly, scientists have revealed a significant gap in global biodiversity research, with many regions lacking comprehensive DNA reference databases. This shortage hinders species identification and undermines conservation efforts. International collaboration and the development of affordable technology are vital to bridging this gap and preserving our planet's precious biodiversity. Lastly, we focused on the alarming state of river pollution in Wales and its devastating impact on marine ecosystems. Excess nutrients from agricultural runoff and sewage are causing green algal banks and harming aquatic life. A collective effort is necessary to drive improvement, involving government agencies, industries, farmers, and local communities. These stories underscore the intricate relationships between human activities, wildlife, and the environment. As we strive towards a more sustainable future, it's crucial that we maintain an open-minded and evidence-based approach, considering the full range of perspectives and possibilities. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the complex world of environmental conservation. Until next time, good night and goodbye. And that completes our evening podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow morning, I'm David Attenager for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.